Chapter 7. When I came back, I found a letter from my father. It said, "My dear Victor, you have probably been waiting to hear when you can come home." At first, I wanted to write only a short letter telling you the date. But I cannot do that. It would not be kind. You expect happy news, but I have something very sad to tell you. I don't know how to say it. I know you still care about our family. William is dead. Our sweet little boy is gone. He was always so happy and kind. He was murdered. I won't try to comfort you with words. I will tell you what happened. Last Thursday, we went for a walk. Me, your two brothers, and our niece. It was a warm evening, and we stayed out longer than usual. It was getting dark when we noticed that William and Ernest had gone ahead and didn't come back. Ernest returned alone. He said they were playing, and William ran away to hide. Ernest waited, but William didn't return. We were worried and looked for him. Elizabeth thought he might have gone home, but he wasn't there. Later, I went out again with torches to search. Around 5 in the morning, I found him. My dear little boy was lying on the grass, pale and not moving. Someone had strangled him. There were marks on his neck. We brought him home. Elizabeth saw his body. I tried to stop her, but she insisted. She looked at his neck and cried, "Oh God, I killed him." Then she fainted. It was very hard to wake her. That night, William had asked Elizabeth to let him wear a small picture of your mother. We think the murderer wanted to steal it. We don't know who did it yet. We are doing everything we can to find out. But it won't bring back William. Come home, dear Victor. Only you can comfort Elizabeth. She cries all the time and blames herself. We are all so sad. Please come and help us. Thank God your mother did not live to see this terrible day. Come, my son, not with anger, but with love. Come to comfort us. Your loving and sad father, Alphonse Frankenstein, Geneva. May 12th. As I read the letter, my friend Clerval watched my face. At first, I was happy to get a letter, but then I was full of sorrow. "What is wrong, Victor?" asked Henry. I didn't speak, just gave him the letter and walked around the room, very upset. Henry read the letter. Tears came to his eyes. "I don't know what to say, my friend," he said. "This is terrible. What will you do now? I must go to Geneva at once. Come with me to arrange for horses." As we walked, Henry tried to comfort me. "Poor William," he said. "Such a sweet boy. He's now with his mother. He is at peace, but we suffer." His words stayed in my mind. When the horses came, I quickly said goodbye and left. The journey was very sad. At first, I wanted to go fast to be with my family. But when I got close to Geneva, I slowed down. So many emotions filled my heart. I saw the places I knew as a child, but everything felt different. I stayed 2 days in Lausanne. I sat by the lake. It was calm, and the mountains were still beautiful. Slowly, I felt more peaceful and continued my trip to Geneva. As I got closer to the town, the lake became smaller. I saw the dark Jura Mountains and the white top of Mont Blanc. I cried like a child. Beautiful mountains, do you bring peace, or are you laughing at my sadness? These days were some of the last peaceful moments I had. My country, my beautiful country. Only someone born here could know how much I love it. But as I got closer to home, sadness and fear returned. Night came, and the mountains looked darker. I felt something terrible was going to happen. I didn't know what, but I was afraid. I arrived near Geneva, but the town gates were closed. I had to stay in a small village called Setrin. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to visit the place where William was murdered. I couldn't go through the town, so I crossed the lake by boat. As I traveled, I saw lightning on the top of Mont Blanc. A storm was coming. I climbed a small hill to watch it. It started to rain, then very hard. Thunder crashed loudly above me. Lightning lit up the sky. Then it was very dark again. The storm was beautiful, but also frightening. As I walked in the storm, I felt strong emotions. I raised my hands and cried out, "William, dear angel, this is your funeral." At that moment, I saw a figure coming out from behind some trees. I stood still and looked closely. A flash of lightning showed me his face. He was huge and ugly, worse than any human. I knew it was the creature I had made. Why was he here? Could he have killed my brother? The thought hit me hard. I shook with fear. The figure quickly disappeared into the dark. I knew it was him. He had killed William. I had no doubt. I thought of chasing him, but another flash showed him climbing the steep rocks of Mont Salif. Soon he was gone. I stood still in the rain and dark. I thought about everything, how I created this monster, how he ran away. 2 years had passed since I gave him life. Was this his first crime? I had made a terrible mistake. I had created a monster who enjoyed pain and death. Now, he had killed my little brother. I stayed outside all night, cold and wet, thinking about everything. I saw the creature as a demon, a nightmare I had made, sent to destroy everything I loved. When the sun came up, I walked into town. I wanted to tell someone what I knew and find the murderer. But I stopped. Who would believe my story? I had made a living creature, and it had killed a boy. People would think I was mad. No one would believe me. So I stayed quiet. I reached my father's house at 5 in the morning. I asked the servants not to wake the family and waited in the library. 6 years had passed since I left for Ingolstadt. I looked at the painting of my mother and the small picture of William below it. I cried when I saw his face. Then Ernest, my brother, came in. He was sad but happy to see me. "Victor, I wish you came 3 months earlier." We were all so happy then. Now everything is dark and sad. Maybe you can help Father and Elizabeth. They are both heartbroken. His tears made my own pain feel more real. I asked about our father and Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the saddest of all, said Ernest. She blames herself for William's death. But now that they found the murderer, what? They found the murderer? That's impossible. I saw him last night. I don't understand, Ernest said. But yes, Justine Moritz is the one. We were shocked. No one believed it at first, but the evidence is strong. Even Elizabeth doesn't believe it, but people say she did it. Justine? That can't be. Everyone knows she's innocent. At first, no one believed it. But then they found the picture of your mother in her pocket. That made people think she killed William to steal it. Also, she acted very confused when people asked her questions. Still, I didn't believe it. You're all wrong, I said. I know the real murderer. Justine is innocent. At that moment, my father came in. He looked very sad, but tried to welcome me kindly. He wanted to talk about something else. But Ernest said, "Father, Victor says he knows who killed William." My father replied, "So do we." Sadly, it is someone we trusted, Justine. You are wrong, I said. Justine is innocent. If she is, may God protect her, said my father. Her trial is today. I hope she will be found not guilty. This gave me hope. I didn't think anyone would really believe she was guilty. My story was too strange to tell anyone. Who would believe me if I said I had made a living creature? They would think I was mad. Then Elizabeth came in. She looked more beautiful and kind than before. She hugged me and said, "Victor, I'm so glad you're here. Maybe you can help prove that Justine is innocent. I'm sure she didn't do it. We've lost William, and now we might lose her too. If she is punished, I'll never be happy again. But I believe in her. She's a good person." Chapter 8. We spent a few sad hours waiting. At 11 o'clock, the trial started. My father and the rest of the family had to go to court as witnesses, and I went with them. The whole trial was very painful for me. I felt like I was being tortured. I kept thinking, will my mistakes cause the death of two innocent people? One was a happy little child. The other, Justine, was a kind young woman. Now, she might be punished with death because of something I did. Justine was calm when we saw her. She wore black clothes. Her face looked very beautiful, but also very sad. She looked innocent and brave, even though many people in the court hated her and believed she was guilty. She saw us sitting in the courtroom and gave us a sad, loving look. She had not done anything wrong, and her face showed it. The trial started. The lawyer spoke against her, and then the witnesses told their stories. Some strange facts made it seem like Justine was guilty, especially to people who didn't know her well. She had been outside all night when the murder happened. A woman saw her near the place where the boy's body was found. When the woman asked Justine what she was doing there, Justine gave a confused answer. She came home around 8 in the morning. When people asked where she had been, she said she was looking for the missing boy. When she saw the boy's body, she had a breakdown and was sick in bed for days. The biggest problem was that a picture, which the child had worn around his neck, was found in Justine's pocket. Elizabeth said it was the same picture she had put on the boy just before he disappeared. People in the court were shocked and angry. Now Justine had to speak for herself. Her face changed a lot during the trial. She looked surprised, scared, and sad. She cried sometimes, but when she stood to speak, she tried to be brave. She said, "God knows I am innocent. I don't expect you to believe only my words. I will tell you the truth about the things that make me look guilty. I hope my good character will help you understand I could not have done this." She explained that Elizabeth had given her permission to spend the evening with her aunt in a village called Chain. On her way home, around 9 o'clock, a man asked her if she had seen the lost boy. She was shocked and searched for him for hours. But the city gates were closed, and she had to stay the night in a barn. In the morning, she woke up and kept searching. She did not know the boy's body was nearby. When the market woman asked her questions, she was tired and confused because she hadn't slept. She could not explain how the picture got into her pocket. She continued, "I know this picture is a big problem, but I don't know how it got there. I have no enemies. Who would try to hurt me like this? Did the real murderer put it there? But why would he steal it and then leave it with me?" She asked the court to let some people speak about her good character. They did, and they said good things. But many were afraid. They thought she was guilty and didn't want to speak up. Elizabeth was upset and stood up to talk. She said, "I am the cousin, or really, the sister, of the murdered boy. I lived with his family before he was born. I know Justine very well. She lived in our house for years. She was kind and caring. She helped my aunt when she was very sick, and she took care of her own mother too. She loved William, the boy who was killed, like a mother loves her child. I believe she is innocent. If she had wanted the picture, I would have given it to her. That's how much I trusted her." The people in the court liked Elizabeth's words, but they were still angry with Justine. They thought she had lied and betrayed their trust. Justine cried while Elizabeth spoke, but said nothing. I was in great pain. I knew Justine was innocent. I believed the real murderer was the creature I had made. I felt worse than anyone. When I saw that the judges had already decided she was guilty, I ran out of the court in despair. That night, I couldn't sleep. The next morning, I went back to the court. I didn't even have the courage to ask what happened. But someone told me Justine was found guilty. All the votes were against her. I was shocked. I had felt horror before, but this was worse. Then I was told something even more terrible. Justine had confessed to the crime. I couldn't understand it. Had I gone mad? I went home and told Elizabeth. "It is decided," I said. All the judges agreed, and she confessed. Elizabeth was heartbroken. How can I believe in goodness anymore? She cried. I thought Justine was like a sister. How could she pretend to be kind and still kill a child? Later, we heard that Justine wanted to see Elizabeth. My father didn't want her to go, but said it was her choice. Elizabeth said, "Yes, I will go, even if she is guilty. Victor, come with me. I can't go alone." I didn't want to go, but I couldn't say no. We went into the dark prison. Justine was sitting on the floor, in chains, her head resting on her knees. When she saw us, she stood up and threw herself at Elizabeth's feet, crying. Elizabeth cried too. "Oh, Justine," said Elizabeth, "why did you take away my last hope? I believed you were innocent. I was sad before, but now I am completely broken." Justine asked, "You too? Do you think I'm guilty? Do you believe I'm a murderer?" She was crying so much she could hardly speak. Elizabeth said, "Please stand up. I don't think you're guilty. I believed in you until I heard that you confessed. If that's not true, I will never stop trusting you." Justine said, "I did confess, but I lied. I only said I was guilty to get forgiveness from the church. My priest kept telling me I was a sinner and would go to hell if I didn't confess. He scared me so much that I finally said I did it, just to find peace. But now I feel even worse. I wish I hadn't lied." She cried again and said, "I hated the idea that you, Elizabeth, would think I could do something so terrible. Dear William, sweet child, I will see you in heaven soon. That is my only comfort now." Elizabeth said, "Forgive me for ever doubting you. But why did you lie? Still, don't worry. I will tell everyone the truth. I will make them see you are innocent. You can't die. I couldn't live without you." Justine shook her head. "I'm not afraid to die. That fear is gone. God is giving me strength. I'm leaving a sad world. If you remember me as someone wrongly punished, I will be at peace. Please, dear Elizabeth, learn to accept what happens with patience." I stood in a corner the whole time. I couldn't show them my terrible pain. I felt worse than anyone. When Justine saw me, she said, "Thank you for visiting me. I hope you don't believe I am guilty." I couldn't speak. Elizabeth answered, "He believes in you even more than I did. He never believed your confession." Justine said, "Thank you. In these final moments, your kindness means so much. It makes my suffering less painful." Justine tried to stay strong, for herself and for us. She found peace in the end. But I, who had caused all this, felt a pain that would never go away. Elizabeth was very sad too, but her sadness was innocent. Mine was full of guilt and shame. We stayed with Justine for a long time. Elizabeth didn't want to leave her. "I wish I could die with you," she cried. "I can't live in this sad world anymore." Justine smiled weakly and held back her tears. She hugged Elizabeth and said, "Goodbye, dear Elizabeth, my only true friend. May you be safe and happy. I hope this is the last sadness you will ever suffer." The next day, Justine died. Elizabeth's strong words didn't change the judges' minds. I also tried to speak, but they didn't listen. I thought about telling them the truth about the creature, but they would only think I was mad. Justine died, seen by the world as a murderer. I watched my dear Elizabeth suffer. My father was full of sorrow. Our happy home was now full of sadness, and it was all because of me. But these were not the last tears they would cry. More sorrow was coming. I, Victor Frankenstein, had caused this pain. I wanted only to make others happy, but now I brought only sadness. I hoped that our suffering would soon end in peace, but I knew more tragedy would follow.